hustle culture, and the law of attraction. Within the self-development community, most of us are leaning towards one of these ideas or philosophies about life. Both of them have their own pros and cons, but which one is actually better? And which one would be more beneficial for you in your life, depending on your current life circumstances? That's what we're about to find out in this video. But before we decide which one is better, what exactly are these two different ideologies? Let's start with hustle culture because it's probably the easy one to explain. Put simply, hustle culture is the ethos of devoting as much time as possible into achieving your long-term and short-term goals. So pretty much ideally, if you wanted to fully immerse yourself into hustle culture, you're spending all of your waking hours working towards that goal of yours. It's just sweating your ass off, doing all of the work, doing everything that you can to achieve the goals that you set for yourself. It's a very simple concept and it's very logical too because it just makes sense. The more work you put in, the more likely you are to achieve success. It's not always like that, but you're pretty much guaranteed some sort of result from putting the work in, which is why it just makes sense for hustle culture to work if you want to be successful in a sense in your life or whatever. And I can say I found this to work myself while I was doing my A-levels, because for A-levels I was a freaking sweat. But is hustle culture actually practical? We'll ask how good this actually is for your life a bit later on in the video. But before that, what is the law of attraction? If you've been into self-development for a while, you've probably heard of this phrase before, but if you haven't, let me explain. Put simply, it's the idea that we're able to focus on an outcome and then attract or manifest that outcome into our lives. In other words, all thoughts turn into things eventually. Totally didn't quote this from the law of attraction website. But it's based on the idea that there are certain laws that govern the universe, such as the law of gravity and the law of relativity and all of that. I don't really understand the law of relativity. I know about gravity, alright? I did that for GCSEs. So it's assumed that the law of attraction is one of these universal laws that govern the universe. But even though I personally don't believe in the law of attraction specifically, I think it does work to some extent, because when you think of a certain goal or when you visualize yourself in a certain situation and you see yourself succeeding, you're more motivated to take action towards where you want to be. And because of that, you'll more likely put more work in, and this will be more likely that you actually achieve that success. But I do know that many people actually do believe in the law of attraction, and they literally believe that if you sit there and you visualize yourself succeeding or you visualize things that you want in your life, one day it'll come true. Some people really do believe that as long as they keep their thoughts positive, positive things will come into your life. That's what the law of attraction is in a nutshell.
Now that we know about the core concepts of hustle culture and the law of attraction, let's get into their pros and cons.
So what's good about hustle culture? If you implement this into your life, you'll definitely get something done, because the whole point is to do work, and if you're doing some sort of work, you're going to get some sort of outcome. This also means that you'll likely move towards your goals very quickly or relatively quickly when compared to other kind of things that you could do, such as meditation and all of that other shebang. Hustle culture also just prevents you from wasting your time. You know, we spend a lot of time watching Netflix, we spend a lot of time playing video games or whatever you do in your spare time. I watch anime, for example. I'm not a nerd, I promise. I'm a bit of a nerd. You could count all of that as wasted time, because is it really important to us that we watch that next episode of Game of Thrones or whatever? I mean, it might seem important to us at the moment, but when you're in your deathbed and you're thinking about your life, you will not think of Game of Thrones unless you were obsessed with that show for whatever reason. But there are cons to fully immersing yourself in the hustle culture, such as the fact that you'll probably burn out very soon if you're working 24/7, especially if you don't like what you're doing. If you don't enjoy the work, you'll also just spend most of your time being miserable, which we really don't want to do with our lives. Ideally, we'd spend most of our time being happy, and that's not really possible if you dislike the work and you're working all the time. What are the pros of the law of attraction? Well, here they are, I wrote them down. So the good thing about the law of attraction is that it's really, really easy to do. You don't have to work as much compared to like if you were in hustle culture, because you're going to be working 24/7 in that. Law of attraction, you're just kind of thinking of the positive outcomes that you want for yourself, and you're just hoping that they appear in your life, because that's how the universe works. Okay, I'm gonna stop mocking the law of attraction now. And here's another benefit of the law of attraction. It can get you into a good mood very quickly, and you'll probably be a lot more happy than if you were to just be hustling all of the time. Mainly because you're filling your mind with positive thoughts and positive things that you want for yourself, that you kind of just forget about the negative stuff, and you just see the world as being very good and very positive, which is what we want to do. Positive thoughts, guys, positive thoughts. But like we've kind of already discussed a little bit, the law of attraction isn't everything. You can't really have it on its own, because let's be honest, the law of attraction does not guarantee any outcome at all. You can literally just be sitting there hoping that things come into your life, but if you don't do anything about it, if you don't do anything to change the situation that you're in, then your situation won't change and you won't achieve what you want, which is why I'm really skeptical about this law of attraction thing, because it doesn't make sense unless you're taking action. But that's why, like I said before, I think it works, because you're more motivated to take action in order to achieve what you visualized for yourself. And another con is it might make you lazy lazy, you don't technically have to do any work if this is like your whole life ethos. You think of something and you get it. And for most of us, sitting down and doing nothing and just thinking about positive stuff doesn't do anything for us at all. It might make us happy because we're thinking about good things, but we're not actually doing anything to get there. So now that you've heard the pros and cons, which one do you think is better? Because I really don't think either one of these on its own is good at all. Because it's not exactly healthy to be working 24/7 or to just be sitting there and visualizing your dream life all day long without actually doing anything. It's actually better to have a balance of the two things in your life. The spiritual side of your life, if you want to call it that, or recreational, you can call it whatever you want, and the hustle, the work side of your life. We kind of need both of these things. That's why work-life balance is a really important thing. You need it for your well-being and your mental health, your mental state. All of that good stuff. For most of you watching this video, you'll want to start moving towards this balance in order to both enjoy your life whilst progressing towards your goals at a steady rate. But some of you might actually benefit by leaning more towards either hustle culture or the law of attraction type stuff. If you find yourself to be a chronic procrastinator and you're just lazy all of the time, you're putting everything off for the future and you're not actually getting anything done, just lean into hustle culture. If you're lazy your whole life and you're not doing anything, you're always procrastinating, you won't get that much done and you'll move towards your goals at a very, very slow rate. But it's good to implement hustle culture for about a week or two, just seeing what it's like to be on that constant cycle of working, because it teaches you discipline, it teaches you to actually enjoy some of the work to an extent, and it also teaches you how to just sit down and get the work done. And for lazy people or procrastinators like I used to be, and sometimes I still do procrastinate, implementing this hustle culture kind of lifestyle will be very, very beneficial. If you're on the opposite of the spectrum and you find yourself to be working a lot of the time and you find yourself to be miserable while you're doing that work, maybe take a look into the law of attraction. Maybe take a look into this kind of spirituality / recreational sort of stuff, which includes meditation. But honestly, taking a break from your work and visualizing yourself achieving the success that you want for yourself, it can be a really nice break from all of the work that you're doing. And it can be quite refreshing to remember why you're doing all of this work in the first place, because sometimes we can get trapped in that cycle of doing work all of the time and we forget about our main purpose behind doing all of the work. It's always good to remind yourself of, hey, this is why I'm doing it. So maybe take a step back and do that if you're working a bit too hard. If this video helped you out in any way, or if you just enjoyed it, hit the like button, it really helps me out. Comment down below what you think of hustle culture and the law of attraction. Subscribe for more videos like this one I post every single week. Thank you guys so much for being here. This has been Luther, and here's your reminder to never stop learning. Peace out. If you're not working right now, what the f are you doing? Believe that it will come true and everything will be yours. Just breathe in and breathe out.